We had a wonderful professor of moral theology during my seminary college years, Father John L. Sullivan, O.P. Now that stands for Order of Preachers, or Dominicans, but we would refer to it as Old Priest. Actually, he would do that too once in a while, just for fun. So a wonderful guy, extraordinary character, a World War II veteran, former Marine, tough guy. And he had no love for the Protestant Reformation, no appreciation for it. He didn't like Martin Luther very much, or anything Protestant, let me put it that way. So I would remember so clearly John L. Sullivan getting up there and often telling us, one of his favorite phrases was, gentlemen, if all we can say about grace is that it's amazing, we have a problem. Now, with apologies to Father John L. Sullivan, who is in heaven, I do want to quote that famous Protestant hymn, Amazing Grace. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Powerful words that I think truly reference the gospel today, where no one is beyond God's reach, no one is lost, and we can feel lost at times in our lives. We certainly have felt lost at times, and not in a positive way at all. Lost in some sorrow, lost under the burden of something at work, or a task that we know we're facing, or that we find absolutely overwhelming. Lost because of our own sinfulness, and maybe overwhelmed by a sense of guilt, sometimes undeservedly so, and sometimes absolutely deservedly so. But God can solve for all of that, because it's His will that no one be lost, that everyone somehow be found in Him. And it's that promise that we find in Luke's Gospel, this series of staccato stories about a lost sheep, a lost coin. If we were to read a little bit further, the lost boy, the prodigal son, who somehow finds it within himself to return to a father. There's a story of a little boy who we had an uncle who was playing a trick on him. The uncle was taking nieces and nephews on a field trip, let's say to downtown Los Angeles, and so the uncle was pretending that he was lost in the car, trying to scare the kids a little bit. And so one of the little kids in the back seat kept looking out the window, and the uncle was saying, what is he looking for? And he's looking up. And finally, the little boy said, there it is. And the uncle said, what are you talking about? There's an American flag. We're not lost. So that's a good story to use on the 4th of July. But think about that, just in a story, but the trust in a benevolent presence in a place that the flag represents, where you somehow feel safe. We need to expand that, obviously, to a benevolent God, this marvelous presence in our life, this overarching presence in our life, and realize that no matter what is happening in our life, no matter what we are facing, no matter what we have gone through or have entertained in our life that might cause us to think or feel in the depth of our heart that we are lost, we are never lost.